Ever wondered why you recognize names like Nike, Amazon, and Pandora without ever cracking open a mythology book? The ancient world may seem distant, but its stories pulse through the veins of our modern existence. From the brands we buy to the movies we watch, mythological influences are hiding in plain sight. These aren't just dusty old tales, they're the invisible framework supporting how we think, speak, and live today. The top 10 ways mythology shapes modern society. Number 10. The hero's journey. The hero leaves home, faces trials, receives supernatural aid, undergoes transformation, and returns with newfound wisdom. Sound familiar? This universal story pattern, identified by mythologist Joseph Campbell, appears everywhere from Star Wars to Marvel movies, from Harry Potter to The Lion King. The hero's journey isn't just entertainment, it's a psychological roadmap embedded in human consciousness across cultures. When you face challenges at work, struggle with personal growth, or navigate major life transitions, you're walking the same path as Hercules or Gilgamesh. Modern self-help books, therapy frameworks, and leadership training all draw from this ancient narrative structure. Corporate brands leverage this pattern too. Apple's famous Think Different campaign cast consumers as heroes breaking from conformity, while Nike consistently positions customers as athletes overcoming obstacles. Each time you resonate with these stories, you're connecting with narrative patterns that have guided humanity for millennia. Number 9. The Great Flood. Nearly every ancient culture tells of a catastrophic flood that nearly wiped out humanity, from the biblical Noah to the Mesopotamian Utnapishtim, from Hindu mythology's Manu to countless indigenous flood narratives worldwide. This cross-cultural myth serves as more than just an ancient explanation for natural disasters. Today, this primordial story shapes how we perceive environmental catastrophe and human resilience. Climate scientists and activists often invoke flood imagery when discussing rising sea levels. Environmental films like The Day After Tomorrow or Waterworld draw directly from these ancient narratives of watery apocalypse. But more importantly, flood myths emphasize humanity's capacity for renewal after devastation. Post-disaster reconstruction efforts, consciously or unconsciously, follow this mythic pattern of building a new world after catastrophe. Every time communities rebuild after hurricanes or tsunamis, they're enacting the final chapter of the flood myth, proving humanity's enduring resilience. Number 8. Egyptian afterlife. Ancient Egyptians developed the most elaborate afterlife concept in history, a complex journey through the underworld culminating in having one's heart weighed against the feather of Ma'at, truth, justice. This sophisticated mythology of judgment, eternal reward, and spiritual continuation profoundly influenced later religious traditions. But Egypt's afterlife obsession shapes our modern world beyond religion. Our entire death care industry, from embalming practices to elaborate funeral ceremonies, evolved from these ancient concepts. When we preserve the memories of loved ones through photos, videos, or social media memorials, we're practicing a digital version of Egyptian immortality rituals. Even our legal system reflects this mythology. The symbolism of weighing evidence, seeking truth, and administering justice mirrors the ancient Egyptian judgment scene where Anubis weighs the heart. Our cultural preoccupation with leaving a legacy, whether through achievements, children, or charitable foundations, directly connects to the Egyptian pursuit of eternal remembrance. Number 7. Norse gods and cosmology. The Norse gods might seem relegated to comic books and superhero movies, but their influence runs far deeper in our society. Beyond Thor and Loki's Hollywood incarnations, Norse mythology subtly shapes our everyday experience. Our weekly calendar directly references Norse deities, Wednesday, Woden, Odin's Day, Thursday, Thor's Day, and Friday, Freya's Day. Major corporations like IKEA use Norse-inspired naming systems for their products. The concept of Ragnarok, the apocalyptic battle ending the world before its renewal, influences everything from environmental discourse to political rhetoric about societal collapse and rebirth. Norse mythology's greatest legacy might be its perspective on fate. The Norse believed in word, a complex concept somewhere between destiny and consequence. This worldview, where gods themselves are bound by fate but still fight valiantly, permeates Western attitudes about determinism versus free will. When modern people speak of writing your own destiny while acknowledging certain limitations, they're channeling this ancient Norse paradox. Number 6. Creation myths. How did we get here? Every culture has answered this fundamental question through creation myths, from the biblical Genesis to the Chinese Pangu, from the Navajo emergence story to the scientific Big Bang. These narratives aren't merely primitive attempts to explain origins. They establish foundational worldviews that persist today. Creation myths establish hierarchies, values, and human purpose. Societies that emerge from monotheistic creation stories, where a singular god creates with intention and order, tend to view authority differently than those from myths where creation emerges from chaos or cosmic accidents. These subtle differences influence modern political structures, scientific inquiry approaches, and environmental attitudes. When tech innovators speak of creating something from nothing, or entrepreneurs describe disruptive creation, they're invoking the language and power dynamics of creation myths. Modern debates about genetic engineering, artificial intelligence, and environmental stewardship all reference who has the right to create or recreate, a question first posed in humanity's earliest myths. Number 5. The Olympic Games. While modern Olympics feature corporate sponsorships and national medal counts, they directly descend from ancient Greek athletic competitions honoring Zeus. This connection goes beyond historical curiosity. It fundamentally shapes how we understand athletics, competition, and international relations. The Olympic flame, olive wreaths, and the concept of an Olympic truce all derive from ancient practices. The modern Olympic motto, faster, higher, stronger, channels the Greek pursuit of arete, excellence, through physical competition. When nations temporarily set aside political differences to compete peacefully, they are participating in a ritual over 2,700 years old. Beyond formal Olympic competition, Greek athletic ideals permeate modern fitness culture. The glorification of the athletic physique, the concept of pushing physical limits, and the fusion of mental and physical excellence all stem from ancient Greek athletic philosophy. When you hit the gym, you're participating in a tradition with direct mythological roots. Number 4. Narcissus. Before selfies and Instagram filters, there was Narcissus, the beautiful youth who fell in love with his own reflection and wasted away, unable to tear himself from his image. This cautionary tale gave us the term narcissism, but its relevance extends far beyond clinical psychology. In our era of curated social media profiles, personal branding, and digital self-promotion, the Narcissus myth provides a crucial framework for understanding the psychological dangers of self-obsession. Studies consistently link excessive social media use with depression and anxiety, modern manifestations of Narcissus's fate. Corporate marketing increasingly encourages narcissistic tendencies, selling products that promise to enhance our digital reflections. Beauty filters, photo editing apps, and platforms built around self-projection create an economy of mirrors that would make Narcissus feel right at home. When psychologists warn about the mental health impacts of constant self-comparison online, they're invoking this ancient myth whether they realize it or not. Number 3. Icarus. Don't fly too close to the sun. This warning from the myth of Icarus, who plummeted to his death when his wax wings melted, resonates powerfully in modern society. The young man who ignored his father Daedalus's advice about moderation provides the perfect metaphor for hubris and its consequences. From financial crashes to tech industry failures, we constantly reference this myth. When commentators describe the 2008 financial crisis as Wall Street flying too close to the sun, they tapped into this ancient warning about overambition. Tech companies that expand too rapidly, leaders who overestimate their capabilities, and individuals who take excessive risks all invite comparison to this doomed mythological figure. Yet Icarus also inspires innovation. Space exploration, scientific breakthroughs, and artistic achievement often require pushing boundaries. Modern society constantly negotiates the Icarian paradox, how to soar higher without melting our wings. This tension between ambition and limitation, risk and caution, innovation and restraint shapes everything from corporate governance to personal decision-making. Number 2. Pandora's Box. When we talk about opening Pandora's box, or warn against unleashing something that can't be contained, we're directly referencing the Greek myth of the first woman, whose curiosity released all evils into the world, with only hope remaining trapped inside her jar, mistranslated as box in the Renaissance. This myth profoundly shapes how we discuss technological innovation and scientific ethics. Debates about genetic engineering, artificial intelligence, nuclear power, and biological research consistently invoke Pandora's cautionary tale. When scientists discuss existential risks or ethicists warn about unintended consequences, they're channeling this ancient story. Yet, Pandora's myth offers more than just warnings. It provides perspective on suffering and resilience. The presence of hope, whether interpreted as trapped or preserved, speaks to humanity's enduring capacity for optimism amid struggles. Our societal emphasis on hope during crises, from pandemic responses to climate change activism, echoes this final element of Pandora's legacy. Number 1. Prometheus. No ancient myth more powerfully shapes our modern technological society than Prometheus, the titan who stole fire from the gods and gave it to humanity, suffering eternal punishment for his transgression. This primordial tale of technological empowerment, defiance of authority, and painful consequences permeates contemporary culture. Silicon Valley's ethos directly channels Promethean values. Tech innovators who disrupt established orders, democratize access to knowledge, and empower ordinary people explicitly position themselves as modern Prometheans. Companies like Prometheus Fuels, Promethean AI, and countless others directly reference this mythological figure in their branding. But the myth's darker elements, Zeus's punishment and the eagle eternally devouring Prometheus's liver, also reflect modern anxieties about technological overreach and its consequences. Climate change, surveillance capitalism, and AI risks represent potential Promethean punishments. Each time we debate whether a technological advancement is progress or hubris, we're revisiting humanity's oldest technology myth. The Promethean bargain, power at a price, underlies our entire technological civilization. When we celebrate innovation while wrestling with its unintended consequences, we're living this myth in real time. No ancient story better captures the paradox of modern existence. Our technologies simultaneously liberate and chain us, just as fire both empowered humanity and led to Prometheus's torment. These myths aren't relics. They're living frameworks that continue to organize our understanding of the world. The next time you encounter these ancient stories hiding in modern contexts, remember, you're witnessing the continued evolution of humanity's oldest and most powerful cultural DNA.